Today we are going to preview the vocabulary for the story The Flight of Icarus. When we do this, we follow the 6 steps of vocabulary. I'm going to say the word, pause so you can say the word. We're going to do that 3 times. I'm going to give you the word in a sentence. I'm going to give you a definition. I'm going to explain what makes this word different or special. Then you're going to finish a prompt, and I'll tell you how it connects to the story that we are reading. You most likely have a worksheet to fill out along with this, so make sure you have that out as well. Our first word is vessel. I say vessel, you say vessel. Vessel, vessel, vessel. We need a large vessel to get across the ocean. A vessel is a craft for traveling on water, now usually one larger than an ordinary rowboat, a ship, or a boat. So another word for vessel is boat. A vessel can be anything that carries something, which is why we have blood vessels in our body. Finish the statement. If I could travel anywhere on a vessel, I would go to... In the story, Daedalus is not allowed to leave the island using a vessel and must engineer another way. Our second word is ingenious. Ingenious. Now you say it. Ingenious. Ingenious. Daedalus was considered ingenious because he designed many marvelous inventions. Ingenious means clever, original, or inventive. The root word genius, which is someone who is very intelligent, so something ingenious has a quality of intelligence. An ingenious person is, so either name someone or describe them. This relates to our lesson because Daedalus was very ingenious when he was able to help both himself and his son escape the island of Crete. Our next word is fastened. It is very important that you fasten your seatbelt before the car pulls into traffic. To fasten means to close or join together securely. Usually when something is being fastened, it is with a device such as buttons or hooks. You turn and talk. Something I often have to fasten is in our story, the wings have to be fastened on tightly. Our next word is bade. 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 The mother bade the children to pay attention when crossing the busy street. It means to have commanded or ordered to tell what to do. Bade is the past tense of bid. So I bid you to do something now, I bade you to do something yesterday. Someone who often bades me to pay attention is, who has baited me to pay attention is, in the story, Daedalus bade his son Icarus to pay attention before the dangerous voyage. Our next word is glide. The dancers seemed to glide across the dance floor. Glide means to move smoothly. Anything that flows smoothly is said to glide. It usually is describing a movement. You turn and talk. I feel like I'm gliding when the connection to our story is that they glide through the air like birds. Our next word is submerged. The rock was submerged in the water after it was thrown. To submerge something means to put or sink under the surface of water or any other complete cover. So to completely cover something with water. Whenever you see sub, the prefix sub before a word, it means under or beneath. So something that is submerged is underwater or beneath something because of that word sub. I know something is submerged when, and in our story, when Icarus does not listen to his father's advice, he becomes submerged in the ocean. Our next word is anxiety. Barbara felt great anxiety before singing in front of an audience. Anxiety means a feeling of nervousness or fear of what might occur. Whenever you see the suffix ty at the end of a word, it means having the quality of. So in this case, it means having the quality of being anxious, which is the root word. Being trapped and having to escape causes a lot of anxiety for Daedalus. Our next word is plunged. On the hot day, we plunged into the frigid pool water to cool off. To plunge means to push or thrust quickly or to jump or dive quickly. Whenever you see the suffix ed at the end of a word, it puts a verb in the past tense. It means it already happened. Your turn and talk. I plunged into the water because. Remember, you're finishing these sentences. I plunged into the water because. In our tale, when Icarus plunged into the water, it caused great despair for his father. Our next word is burden. Students often feel the burden of carrying heavy school supplies. Burden means something carried that usually causes a strain. So it can be a physical burden, like this picture. It can also be burdened by heavy thoughts, anything that makes you feel strained. Because burdens can be both physical or emotional. Many people feel they have a burden when. So when do you feel burdened? And the father feels a great burden in this story. And our last word is mourn. See, it's with a U. All right, so it's not like mourning. After their dog died, the family mourned and felt the loss for weeks. Mourned means to feel or show deep sorrow, sadness, or regret for someone or their death. It's to grieve and feel sad. Careful of the word of confusing this with M-O-R-N, which means daytime. When you have the letter U in it, it has to do with sadness or grief. So it's how you feel rather than the time of day. And our final turn and talk, you usually see people in mourning, when, or at. When do you usually see people sad and grieving? At the end of the tale, the father will mourn in this myth. I hope you remember these words and recognize them as they come up in our story.